Walnuts hold a somewhat unique position in the nut category because their health evidence goes beyond the general "nuts are good for cardiovascular health" narrative shared across the broader nut family. Walnuts are the only tree nut with a substantial content of ALA omega-3 fatty acids. They contain the highest total polyphenol content of any nut, and they have been the subject of more direct cardiovascular intervention research than any of their nut counterparts. The evidence base for walnuts specifically, not just nuts generally, is strong enough to look at individually. An ounce of walnuts, approximately 7 whole walnut halves, provides 185 calories, 18 grams of fat, 4 grams of protein, 2 grams of fiber, and 2.6 grams of ALA omega-3s. The ALA content is the standout number. It exceeds the adequate intake for ALA in a single serving, though as always the conversion to EPA and DHA in the body is limited. Beyond ALA, walnuts contain elagitannins, polyphenol that gut bacteria convert to compounds called urolithins, which have shown promising anti-inflammatory and potentially cancer-protective effects in cell and animal research, with some emerging human trial data as well. The PREDIME trial, the landmark Spanish study that demonstrated Mediterranean diet benefits, included walnuts as a key component and found participants consuming mixed nuts, including walnuts, showed a 30% relative reduction in major cardiovascular events over nearly 5 years compared to the low-fat control group. Walnut-specific trials have found LDL reductions, improved endothelial function, and reductions in inflammatory markers including CRP, particularly in populations with elevated baseline cardiovascular risk. The cognitive health angle for walnuts is supported by observational data showing associations between higher walnut consumption and better cognitive performance in adults, as well as by plausible mechanisms involving their omega-3 content, polyphenol-driven reduction in neuroinflammation, and melatonin content. Walnuts are one of the dietary sources of melatonin that may support sleep quality at habitual consumption levels. Portion discipline is the practical priority here. Walnuts are 185 calories per ounce, and they are one of the easier nuts to eat in quantity without noticing. Their texture is pleasant, they pair well with sweet flavors, and unlike almonds, they don't require as much chewing effort. A 1-ounce daily portion is what the evidence is built on. Eating 3 or 4 ounces while watching television is nutritionally counterproductive if caloric balance is a concern. Storage deserves specific mention. Walnuts have a higher polyunsaturated fat content than other nuts, which makes them significantly more susceptible to oxidative rancidity. Rancid walnuts not only taste unpleasant, the acrid bitterness is the signal. They contain oxidized lipid compounds that work against the cardiovascular benefits the food is supposed to deliver. Storing walnuts in an airtight container in the refrigerator or freezer, rather than in a bowl on the counter, meaningfully extends their freshness and preserves the nutritional profile you're eating them for.